all of us as human beings at some point in our lives experience either utterly catastrophic suffering or just the accumulation of the daily grind of difficult things happening. And I've written this book, Where is God in All the Suffering? Because whether we're in an extreme place of going through absolute agony and the collapse of our world, or we're just really weary, really tired from the suffering and difficulty we're experiencing, many of us are going to be asking, how could God exist and how could he be loving and let this be happening to me? There's a fundamental disconnect between my experience of this world and the idea that a God who loves me exists. A natural human reaction when we experience suffering or we see great injustice in the world is anger. We might find ourselves asking why, but asking that with real rage. And we see within the Bible people's expression of their pain in the suffering they're going through, expressed at God, to God. God, where are you? How can you be letting this happen? How long are you going to let this happen? And ultimately, I think that the Christian faith is unique in being able to say God is big enough to handle our experience of suffering and to promise his love and his presence with us in those experiences. We might find ourselves in a situation of experiencing depression and asking, where's God in the midst of this kind of darkness? Within the Bible, we actually see depression experienced and described by people who knew God. So depression is not a verdict about you that God doesn't love you. The promise of Christian faith is that we can bring not just the fact of our suffering to God, but our experience of it, our processing of that suffering, and that he is then able to actually journey with us, to carry us through, to bring his love and presence into our human experience of suffering. Even in the midst of the darkness and the despair of this world, even with all the suffering that we see around us and the evil that is done, yet there are still these glimpses of hope. I think that points to the God who is behind this universe, that there is also a loving God who actually exists, who has a purpose for your life, who cares about what you're going through, and he wants to invite you into relationship with him. And there is hope. There is a purpose and a future for you if you're open to that.